back to all of our Emperor Champagne Club members. I am clearly not at home today. I'm in the Emperor warehouse. There's a lot going on. It's a busy time of year, especially when we're packing your club wines. Now, I wanted to introduce you to someone that I think that you would have had a conversation with before. Beck.
You're cold.
You're cold. So many of you in our club will speak to Beck, whether it's about champagne choice or their club.
Yeah.
You look after the logistics in the warehouse. You look after customers' preferences. Tango, we see you. Relax. He's the warehouse manager, and you know you really are integral to our customers' journey through Emperor.
Thank you.
So I thought, do you want to do this month's episode with me, Beck?
I'd love to.
You've got an amazing palate, and you know the wines just as well as I do.
Yeah.
This month we're going to focus on richness of champagne. So the theme is Winter Wonderland.
So we're talking red fruit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so that
absolutely.
Pinot Noir dominant, Pinot Meunier,
Meunier.
to a lesser extent, but yes.
Yeah.
Extended aging on lees.
100%.
So it could be a vintage that's been left in the cellar for a longer period of time, gaining more complexity as that autolysis starts to happen with the yeast breaking down. It could be from a multi-vintage that's had richer reserve wines or even just
perpetual reserve.
Exactly right. So perpetual reserve is where
it's really interesting.
It is interesting, isn't it? It's like when you take this big barrel or a tank and every year you're putting a still wine in.
Yeah, sort of like a cellars system.
Exactly.
But one tank only.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the winemaker will put a little bit from the current year's harvest and then draw off from the blend.
Yeah.
You know, the young wines giving the older wines some pep and the older wines teaching the young wines how to behave.
Exactly.
You know, it's a schooling of sorts.
Exactly.
Which adds a real complexity and depth to champagne.
Yeah.
We've also got the idea of barrel. You know, the winemaker can use stainless steel, which is about freshness, or barrel, which is a bit more oxidative in its style.
Yeah, and adds, flavour if it's a smaller barrel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So smaller barrel give more intensity, bigger barrels a little bit less effect.
Yeah.
And then rosé champagne. So
Yeah.
we're classically using a red as a still red Pinot Noir, adding some power and complexity to the wine.
So
So
I guess some people think about rosé as being a summer champagne, but we like to think of it as a winter champagne as well, because some of the styles that we have that have got a lot of richness, a lot of flavour, a lot of red fruits and depth, structure, they're perfect for winter foods.
100% agree, and we'll look at that this episode.
Yeah.
The house that we're featuring this month, coming out to all our lovers and connoisseurs, is of course Beck.
Cédric Moussé.
We love Cédric Moussé, and how freaking cool that he's a champagne producer with the surname called Moussé, which means bubble in French. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this. We really love this house. We really love this producer. Kiri fought for a couple of years to get an allocation of these wines because they are completely sought after around the world. They are tiny quantities, and every single bottle is accounted for, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
The family have a great history. They actually moved into the region of Champagne in the 1750s, and they've been growing and producing their own champagne under their own banner since the 1920s.
Correct. With Eugene,
the
great-grandfather of Moussé.
Exactly, and you'll see a lot of that on the bottles, which is really cool. It's all in honour of him. A little bit about the house. They're located in the village of Cuy, which
Valley
is
de la Marne.
Exactly, it's in the Valley de la Marne, and Valley de la Marne specialises in Meunier.
Meunier. He's a Meunier specialist.
Yeah.
And Meunier is often thought of as the forgotten grape variety or the third
The
wheel.
underdog,
But in Moussé, it's celebrated. What's his statement that he says?
Profondément Meunier, or profoundly, deeply Meunier. So when you open up a Cédric Moussé or a Moussé bottle, you'll see it written on the inside of the cap. And he says this for two reasons. One, they really believe, they champion the Meunier grape and they're specialists in it. And secondly, it's the depth of the vine, so deeply Meunier. He's got a slightly different soil composition where he is. He's actually on schist.
Yeah, green clay.
Exactly, green clay. And that,
it gives like a mineral character to his champagnes. You get like a saline kind of taste. Really, really interesting. More savoury, more earthy.
Beautiful. I love their wines, and I think he has a deft hands. I also love that, and I got to visit for the first time last year. Oh my God.
You came back raving about that. It was
such an amazing experience. I've got tingles just thinking about it. It was just one of my favourite vineyard experiences, and everybody in the Champagne tour said exactly the same thing. He's an amazing man. He's so full of passion. But the
unexpected.
He's just so passionate about what he does. You know, he's off the grid, Beck.
Yeah.
The things he's doing in the vineyard are fascinating. He's biodynamic, he's organic, he's experimental.
Yeah.
He's really cool. And you see that passion feed through into the
apparently
wines.
his winery is completely modern. 2012, I think they redid that, and it's all stainless steel, and you wouldn't expect it from a kind of a grower, organic, biodynamic champagne maker.
Super cool.
Yeah.
This is a great house and it's a great wine.
Yeah.
So the champagne that's coming out to everybody, this is a new champagne, isn't it, Beck?
It is a new champagne.
So the previous champagne was Effusion.
Effusion. This is a L'Or de Gênes.
L'Or de Gênes. So this is a slightly new composition. It's a new cuvée. It's 82% Meunier. It's 18% Pinot Noir. And I think it's really interesting that he's got 2 perpetual reserves running side by side. He's got one white. Now, we can make a white wine from a red grape, so let's not get confused that we're talking about Chardonnay. And then he's got a perpetual reserve as a red.
Correct.
And I think the perpetual reserve for the red wine, still red wine, is barrel.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, a small portion of it.
A small portion of it.
Most of it is in stainless steel, but there is a small portion for the rosé.
So then he's blending 2 perpetual reserves together, and they date back to 2003. So the perpetual reserve is 2003 all the way through to 2019.
Correct.
So you've got significant depth in the wine. Beck, tell me what you think about this cuvée. You love this wine.
I just love the colour to start with. It's just so beautiful in the glass.
So pretty.
Red fruits. Hibiscus,
rose hip, pomegranate.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get those floral notes from Moussé's wines. I think you've got that beautiful clay that gives that elevated floral character. Sometimes I get violet.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not just floral and sweet. It's actually got quite a few savoury sort of tones to it.
It does, but it's the perfect balance between pretty and powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And for me, that is a whole plethora of food pairing potential. Yeah. So, you know, whether it's Asian food, I dare say I could even do it with some Indian food, which is pretty challenging to pair with.
100%.
The wine is quite low dosage. It's 2.5 grams. The previous iteration was 1.5. So it's come up a tiny bit. And I think,
a little bit.
You know, depending on the year and the environment and how warm it is, then you can come up or come down to balance sweetness and acidity in the wine.
Yeah.
Couple of years in bottle, but...
Oh, it's good. And I think, you know, the structure of this as well is just gorgeous. That's what carries it through with winter foods, because it's got that structure. It's got a little bit of that texture and the palate.
Yeah, and you are getting somewhere there, and it's this really fine powdery tannin that's coming from the skin of the red grape that's been made into a red wine. So you get this beautiful structure. It's got nice acidity, and you've got this beautiful red berry aftertaste on the palate. It's a magic wine.
It's completely different to your normal sort of strawberries and cream style. Really gorgeous winter rosé.
I agree. The house that's coming out to all of our connoisseurs and our corporates this month is Palmer & Co. Now this, for me, is a very understated house, certainly in this country. The wines are outstanding. They've won a ton of awards. I'm talking swags of them. The house was founded in 1947, originally by 7 growers. So it was a cooperative. What made these 7 growers unique is that they all had Grand Cru parcels. Grand Cru parcels in the Côte de Blanc, so Chardonnay, Grand Cru parcels of Pinot Noir. But they came together because they could make a more interesting champagne if they blended their cuvées, their plots together to create their champagnes. Now the gentlemen were trying to come up with a name of the house, 7 names. They were using various letters to create an acronym, and they couldn't do it. It just didn't work. So at this point in time, we're post-depression, the price of a packet of biscuits was actually more than a bottle of champagne, which I find crazy. There was a biscuit company called Hadley and Palmer in Britain. Some biscuits that were sold to the royal family, so they had this prestige. They took the name Palmer out of the biscuit company, so the story goes, and alas, we have Palmer & Co. Beck, Should we try it?
You called. Here we go.
The champagne that we're featuring is the Blanc de Noir.
Blanc de Noir.
And that fits in with our theme this month.
It does.
Because
50-50 blend, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. First time I'm actually trying this, and it is so good. It is sensational.
you can see why it's won a lot of awards.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, so the Blanc de Noir is aged in the cellar for 4 years. Okay, so it is a mixed blend. It's multiple vintages. It's 4 years, and in the Magnum it's 6. So you always get longer aging in the Magnum, and that's another way of gaining complexity from your champagne. So you're right, 50 Pinot Noir, 50 Pinot Meunier. It is absolutely gorgeous on the nose,
gorgeous.
and not just on the nose, on the palate. The beautiful coating of the mouth, the filling of the palate. It's a ripper. What do we think?
And a lot of length as well. I could just drink this. It's so much flavour. It's got beautiful toffee. It's got biscuit,
caramel. How fitting!
But it's very
got biscuit
elegant.
Characteristics. Yeah,
it's very
agreed.
elegant. Yeah, and in the palate, it just coats your mouth with beautiful flavour, fruit tannins on your tongue, and length. It just goes on and on. That flavour just continues.
So this particular champagne has won a lot of awards. It's won multiple golds. It won an award last year, I think, too, didn't it, in the vineyard?
2022 in Champagne.
2022.
Yes, it did.
It's even won awards for being one of the best Blanc de Noirs outright. So all red fruit. So we're making a white wine from a red grape, 50-50, with 4 years of aging. Great house.
It's stunning. Stunning. Yeah. Great choice.
So Beck, this month we had a focus on a winter wonderland, richer champagne style.
Yeah.
We had Cédric Moussé,
Parma,
which
stunning.
we love. And we've got a range of other champagnes from both of those producers. If you head to the emperorchampagne.com.au website, you can see more of that range.
Correct.
But
a few more magnums of the Vin de Mon Village left from Moussé. Just saying.
Sensational,
gorgeous.
sensational. We had 2 wines coming out to you this month. We had the L'Or Rosé, adding that red wine perpetual into the mix to give us more power, more oomph, and also Parma & Co, which is a completely 100% red grape feature in a white wine with a little bit more aging.
Pinot Meunier. Just gorgeous.
Stunning.
Really happy with these.
Now, we're in the warehouse today, and I think that there's some other people that you should meet. Girls?
We're a bit camera shy.
Come on. Come over. So Madison is in the marketing team, looking after marketing and events. Liesl, some of you will have spoken to. Liesl is our concierge. So if you want deals and specials that you can't get online, she's the person that you need to speak to. She's got the authority to go a little bit deeper in that discounting and give you some special products. We are an all-girl team.
We are. We look after each other.
We're an all-girl team.
We have fun.
We
have
do
lots
have
of
fun. We do have fun. And I think for us, there's a passion that's shared for champagne amongst the team, and that keeps it exciting for us and hopefully exciting for you too. To all of our Emperor Club Champagne members, we hope to see you very soon at an event.
And keep a lookout for the new Moussé.
Yes, it's exciting. It's the 100-year anniversary this year. Madison's working on the campaign. There's going to be some amazing dinners later in the year, some super duper duper interesting dinners and some other activities. So we will have new labels coming. We've got new bottles coming. We're about to do another shipment. Exciting. So something to keep your eye on throughout the year. But thanks, ladies. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you. Santé.
And we'll see you on the next episode. It's Patsy and
Eddie.
Eddie and Patsy. Yeah. We're like Eddie and Patsy. And we can talk about that, how we're like, all the kids in the office think we're like revolting. We're got a dart hanging out our mouths.
What we should
sniff. Sip and a sip. And I'm so tired, I can't speak. Sip and a sniff.
Have we got a spittoon, or do we not do that?
Say again?
Spittoon?
Just to pretend. I'm at work. Drink and work and operate machinery. We should start off and put some wine in and start off with Kyla like this.
With a dart hanging out my mouth.
And I go, Kyla, we're on. And she goes, so we're just going to talk about the Moussé champagne today.
Says
you
Patsy.
Just keep telling yourself that, darling.
She says love. She says Pat. She says love. Look, you were humping the barrel.
It's a man thing.
There is a hole in it
Testosterone
somewhere.
thing.
Look.